I kind of alluded to this in the last episode, but we're going to be talking about bitterness and bottlenecks. Basically, about how different things in business and in life can hold up like your whole process and prevent you from making a lot of progress. And it can lead to feelings of bitterness, ingratitude, or ungratitude, or whatever that word is, and just a lot of different other things. And this can be another mini little rant. And then on Monday, I'll upload the episode with Rhett, which will be perfect because it'll be Valentine's Day. It'll be great. But for now, let's get into this rant. First of all, oh man, it's crazy because I didn't really know what a bottleneck in business was. I'd hear people talk about it, but I didn't really understand it. And then in managerial accounting class this semester, as we've talked about them more and how they basically hold back your process from moving forward, I realized, wow, my laptop is a really big bottleneck for my overall business and even life right now because it doesn't go very quickly. Sometimes it takes like 5 minutes to load, and yet sometimes it's a better choice than using my school's computers because sometimes those go even slower, in particular with Excel. And it's like, holy cow, is there any way I can possibly get this to work the way I want it to work? And it's interesting because, you know, um, what I've kind of learned as I've developed more gratitude over the last couple months and just appreciated more where I'm at and not been upset about where I haven't gone yet, I've learned to have compassion on myself and also compassion on, this bottleneck, like I've had to notice that, this isn't going to last forever. This is really just a time to learn and just grow with myself. If you are running an online business and you're running a laptop that is not equipped to handle some of the basic stuff, how are you ever going to be able to do anything more complicated or anything more taxing? And however are you ever going to like consistently be there for your audience? It's not really going to happen. And it's really tough sometimes because I'll want to edit things, and then this is kind of what I have to work with. And you change how you see things, and the way when you change the way you see things, the things you see change. I used to see this laptop as a pretty solid machine, but as it's gotten older and depreciated in value and in performance, it's really caused me to think differently of it. And sometimes that has led to bitterness. That bitterness has caused me to, retreat to my bed or retreat to other things, and it's like nothing really changes when you do that. The only way to make the most of the bottleneck is to learn as much as you can about it and then take action. In my case, the right answer is clear. Just get everything I need off the laptop and buy a beefy gaming PC or something so that will be able to handle everything that I need it to handle. So I don't have this problem anymore. So I don't have the struggle of trying to plug up my laptop when I'm in class and it's not working. But, that requires money. That also requires moving on and accepting that I am not the bottleneck. Sure, I have a lot of things that hold me back. Maybe I have, unkind feelings about different things, and maybe that holds me back from, other things, but that doesn't affect that doesn't change at all how I see myself at a fundamental level. As I've taken out different bottlenecks from my life, like my room being super messy, I've realized, wow, that was just my room. It was a bottleneck to getting some homework done. But now that it's somewhat more clean, I am a lot happier and it's there. And it's like, I'm not the problem there. I am the solution. I am the one who's going to make things better. And as I've really started to make some like bigger progress, I've been making a quote unquote bold move every day at 6:16 p.m. It's really gotten me to think, what are some of these things that I really need to change and move on from and to stop suffering from needlessly. It's kind of like if a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A had a fry machine that didn't work as well as the others, and it came out with fries so much slower, and it just held them back, and they weren't able to put out as much fries every day. Like you can put up with that for like a couple weeks, but then at some point it becomes so much more costly to not replace the silly thing and just move on. If the longer you hold on to the thing, the more your feelings get tied up in it, and the more you're going to get angry if something does go wrong. And this is something I've experienced very, very keenly. After I got the new, um, after I got the RAM and just got this laptop sped up, I thought it would be okay for a bit. It's been around a year since that upgrade, and it is back to slow mode. And I think a lot of it is it does have a lot of stuff on it, but at the end of the day, it's costing me way more money and time to hold on to than to just get rid of and start over. And I think this is really, really true with so many different things. We want to hold on to the way we normally take notes, the way we normally talk to people, the way we normally do fill in the blank, when in reality, we probably should just scrap that method and try something else, because the benefits that we're missing out on are not worth the cost that we're putting in to get the other thing. And it's really hard to do this. And I think there's things that, are simply one thought that like always helps me when it comes to change is like when the pain of staying the same is more than the pain of change, then you'll change. And I've put off and delayed getting a new laptop for a long time, and it has changed how I feel about myself a little bit, just because like, oh yeah, I have all this stuff going for me, but I also have this hunk of junk laptop that is not getting things done for me as I'd like. But in reality, I mean, I'm using it right now to record this episode. It's a miracle. I don't count on it sticking around for very long. I really don't. I'm really trying to appreciate it and enjoy it. And I think this is something that we need to all do with our own lives. There's different things that if we hold on to it too much, then it can become a bottleneck. It can become something that holds us back. Too much of anything is too much of a good thing is not good generally. You need to have some kind of flow and rhythm to what you're doing. You don't just play the same note over and over and over and over and over again. It's interesting because there's some bottlenecks. I remember when I went through a time where it was very hard for me to show love and to give love and to feel love. And that was because of a bottleneck where I had so much dislike and just distaste and just an inability to forgive somebody, and that was really, really hard for me. And so there's all this like love trying to funnel, but there's this giant thing in the way. It's kind of like in Pokemon when you're trying to move forward. If you've played the original Pokemon, there's a Snorlax, there's a couple Snorlaxes in the game that completely impede your progress. And so what you need to do is learn as much as you can. Why is Snorlax laying there? Oh, well, he probably was taking a nap. What will wake him up? Oh, if you have a Poke Flute. How do you get the Poke Flute? Oh, you go and talk to this person. You do this errand, and then you can figure it out. And then you can finally progress on your journey. Finally. You can move forward. It's okay. And so this has become my own personal Snorlax. I feel like I've, hung around these different areas that I enjoy far too long, and so it's gotten a little bit taxing. There's different things like the fact that when I'm recording this, it may not come out very good, and you can see lines on my face from the sun, but I've learned to just appreciate this and not tie the bottleneck to myself. There are so many things I've learned and so many things I've tried in my life. I've definitely overcome some things that were bottlenecks and were holding me back from giving love. Now I have absolute love for that person. I prayed for them. I've, done different things for them, and I've completely changed. God's given me so much love for that person to more than cover for anything that I felt. And I believe the same thing is true with this bottleneck. All of the time that I've lost, all of the money I could have made or whatever, I'm going to more than compensate as I learn and move on from this bottleneck. And I think one of the biggest things is just not attaching it to yourself. It is so, so important. I mean, back in high school, I had this teacher, and back in high school when I was taking Latin, I really struggled with it. And then I had a teacher, Dr. Soboleski, bless her heart, she's amazing. She told me that what was my problem was back in high school when I was really struggling with my Latin class. I had a teacher who was kind enough to help me see that the bottleneck was not me, it was my studying method. If I just used flashcards to catch up, I would be okay. And I ended up doing really well, kind of well, the rest of line one, and ended up doing 2, 3, 4, 5, and also AP. So I went way farther because I took that bottleneck out of my life, which was feeling like I wasn't smart and was not able to study and just wasn't able to do good on tests. These things, they are in our path, but they do not need to define us. From my design thinking class that I took at BYU Idaho, one of the biggest things we learned is you can get so much empathy and learn so much about a problem that the insights from it can carry you over it. And so you need to learn as much as you can about the problem, the solution, or the problem so you can get to the solution eventually. And so for me, I'm going to learn as much as I can about what I need for a computer and invest accordingly. I'm going to learn as much as I can about my current needs, about all these different things, so I can move forward and not have this be a bottleneck. Because up to this point, this bottleneck has led to me being very upset, being frustrated, feeling just inadequate, and so many other things. And I don't believe it's going to get a ton better if I don't take some kind of action. Like, I've learned to have appreciation for it, but it's been 3 years almost since I had this laptop, and it's never been like lightning quick. I mean, maybe when I first got it, it was pretty good, but I got it secondhand, so I don't know. It wasn't really built for this, right? Like, what can I expect? Like, I've wanted it to be this all-in-one computer, and it's done really well. I've used it for streaming and for other things, but at the end of the day, it wasn't built to handle the kind of pressure and the kind of love and the kind of whatever that I'm putting it through. It just wasn't built for that, and that's okay. I wanted to close with a couple quotes. So one is from Elder Uchtdorf. He's a member of the Quorum of 12 Apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which I'm a member of. He gave a talk called Grateful in Any Circumstances that is so mind-blowing. Probably going to read it again soon. But he said, those who put aside the bottle of bitterness and instead lift the goblet of gratitude will find a refining drink of healing, hope, and understanding. I just think that's literally so true. So amazing how we can always put aside the bottle of bitterness and be grateful instead. I am extremely grateful for what I've learned from this bottleneck, for the bottlenecks in my life. I'm thankful that when I felt really bitter, I've been able to be made better at times when I've turned to God, when I've tried new things, when I've not given up on myself, when I've kept serving others and sought to improve myself. But I'm also extremely thankful for this time to move on, because now that we fully understand this situation, at least a lot more, and understanding that it's a bottleneck, we can fully move forward from it. So whatever bottleneck is in your life right now, I would encourage you to learn as much as you can about it and show love for that person, that thing. I don't know, just do what you can to figure it out. And when you dig deeper into a thing, you tend to have more empathy and be more appreciative of it. So I don't know, hopefully that's helpful for you. Wanted to get that rant out of the way. Gonna upload that episode of Rant on Monday. It'll be fantastic. Gonna hit the grind hard so I can edit it, and I'm not really looking forward to editing it. I'm really not, because this thing sometimes freezes, and more than once I've lost all my progress before, and all those thoughts and feelings are there. But at the end of the day, I know the end is near, the end is close, and it's going to get better, so much better. So if you'd like to talk with me on Instagram or something, hit me up at Yield to Dave Dallin Podcast. I love to talk with you sometime. and hope you enjoy the podcast, and thanks for listening to my rant. With that all said, thank you again, and don't forget to yield today. It'll be a better tomorrow. Bottleneck.